Hey, all you comic book readers and true believers, it's Tuesday, and I'm your friendly neighborhood comic book guy, Mitch Harmon. You guys know what's up. Mitch's Picks. From Boom Studios, Angel, #1, written by Brian Edward Hill, art done by Gleb Melenkov. If you guys remember, a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month or so, I did a preview on Angel #0, kind of laying the groundwork for where Angel is in the Buffy series, and this continues that story. Angel's still trying to atone for his several lifetimes of sins he's had as a vampire and whatnot, and he's just trying to do the best he can in Sunnydale. But he gets a visit from Lilith, a witch who's been kind of in and out of his life, and she warns him of an up-and-coming danger that is nothing quite like what he's seen before. Of course, Angel is just like, it's another demon or whatever, I can take care of this, no problem. But Lilith assures him this is something that is completely outside of his realm of control. This is a tie-in to this does kind of tie in a little bit to Buffy for what's going on with the new series from Boom Studios, but this series is going to revolve around Angel, it seems like, and as far as I can tell, it is an ongoing series. Brian Edward Hill is the writer, and he's collaborating with Joss Whedon, so we're going to see a lot of like actual canonical stuff, I guess you could say, happening in this book. If you're a fan of Buffy, I recommend it. Even if not, you just like vampires and crazy supernatural stuff, I definitely recommend picking this up, guys. Check it out. From Marvel Comics, X-Men Grand Design Extinction #1, written and drawn by Ed Priskor. If you guys have been following my Mitch's Picks, you know I've picked these several times. This series is wonderful for anybody that's trying to get into the X-Men series, but doesn't want to go through and reading 700 to 800 issues to try to get it all. And that's just the Uncanny X-Men. We're not counting all the other side stuff. This book actually starts out with the birth of Nathan Summers, little boy Cable, going on to be X-Men eventually. You know, it's all time travel stuff. Jean has been missing. Madeline Pryor has taken the place, sort of, I guess you could say, as Jean Grey. Well, I should say, as the love of Scott. There is also the Morlocks battle against the Reavers. And I believe there's also, with Storm, she loses her powers, she becomes the leader of the team. I mean, there's a lot that happens in this Extinction stuff. Mostly the big stuff was with Madeline Pryor turning into the Goblin Queen, spoiler alert, and also all the stuff with Mr. Sinister with young baby Nathan Summers and whatnot. He's just been going through the timeline, guys, and so this is Volume 3, X-Men Grand Design, Book 1, and there will be a Book 2, and who knows how many more volumes, but it's really cool, a lot of history in it, and if you're just a fan of the comic books in general, it's a good read, guys. Check it out. From Dark Horse Comics, Stranger Things 6, #1, written by Jody Houser, art done by Edgar Salazar. This is a new 4-part miniseries coming out of Dark Horse. It's going to be focusing on test subject 6, which if you guys watch the most recent episode of or most recent season of Stranger Things, you figure out that 11's not alone. There's 10 previous test subjects there was, and this one's going to fall around, I believe her name's Francine, which is test subject 6. She has like clairvoyant powers and abilities and stuff like that. Trying to be a teenager in the late 70s is never easy, and especially when you're kind of outcast from everyone else, I guess you could say. And her family isn't exactly the best in this scenario either, trying to take advantage of her clairvoyant powers and so on and so forth. This does give you a kind of a look into what the doctor, I forget his exact name, what he was doing with test subjects before 11 came around. And I don't know if we're going to get the rest of these other test subjects, but I don't believe she was in the most previous season, or if she was very lightly touched upon, and so you're going to get a whole backstory with this one if you guys want to pick this one up. Jody Houser's been doing a lot of great stuff here recently, mostly the stuff with the Stranger Things, a lot of work on Dark Horse, so if you guys are interested in any of that, I'd recommend this one, guys, for sure. Check it out. From DC Comics, Batman Last Night on Earth, #1, or Book 1, written by Scott Snyder, art done by Greg Capullo. This is a new series coming out of the DC Black Label series, much like the Batman Damned, and also now the Batman White Knight is a part of the same Black Label series as well. After just what seems to be a very typical routine stop to help fight crime and whatnot, Batman gets shot and he wakes up in a mental institution. And everyone around him is telling him that he has just been Bruce Wayne, but not Batman. He believes Batman is this completely fabricated idea, and all the people around him, such as his main doctor. He thinks he's the Joker. He learns all of his fighting skills from this physical therapist called Ra's al Ghul. Just kind of little bits of hints that maybe Batman was crazy this entire time. Maybe Bruce Wayne really was crazy this entire time, and he just fabricated all these villains in his mind, and so on and so forth. And he figures maybe if he sees Alfred, that will change things around, but Alfred just buckles down and reinforces the idea that this is all just, it's all in his head for the most part. That is until Batman, Bruce Wayne, decides to not really take anyone's word for it, gets himself a kind of a cape and a cowl, kind of a straitjacket look, I guess you could say, and then proceeds to work his way up to the very top floor, in which case he feels like up there, that's where everything is, and it's all going to be revealed to him and whatnot, only to find that Alfred was up there and has other people with him, the doctors and other people that he thought were villains, and tell him this entire thing was fabricated, but it was to try to protect him, because as far as he knows, the world outside is destroyed. And it's just not really destroyed by any one villain. It was destroyed by, well, the masses of people, but eventually the masses of people were orchestrated together by this individual called Omega, who decided to go around taking down all the other stuff. It's a lot going on. This is a really thick book, guys, but it's a really cool story. It's supposed to conclude the actual story between Scott Steiner and Greg Capullo's run for the New 52. There is callbacks in this book to things that happened in the New 52 run. So this is kind of their conclusion. I don't think this is going to be the last story that Capullo and Steiner do together, but this is supposed to be their finishing, the last Batman story, I guess you could say. But maybe it's just a conclusion of the actual story and whatnot. But this is supposed to be a 3-part miniseries, much like the Black Label stuff. It might take a little while to come out, but it's always a quality read, and it is a little bit more mature, a little bit of swearing, a little bit of blood, so it may not be best for kids. But if you're a fan of the New 52 Batman stuff, or just like cool stories with a little interesting twist, this is definitely the book for you guys. Check it out. From Dark Horse Comics, God of War, trade paperback, written by Chris Robertson, art done by Tony Parker. For those of you that are a fan of the game, God of War, the newest one that came out for PS4, it was amazing. But it does have a little bit of a gap into what happens when Kratos, we last see him in God of War 3, when he was still fighting all the Greek gods, and into the beginning of this game, which is when he begins to take on the Norse gods. This book doesn't exactly detail his trip from Greece to the north, but this book does take place before the actual game itself. Spoiler alert, if anybody's been playing the game, his wife is dead at the very beginning, but she's alive in this. Does give us a little hint that this does take place a little bit before the video game. But Atreus is he is still a lot, or he's pretty much the same age, so it's right on that cusp, I would imagine. But Kratos is trying to learn how to deal with his rage. He goes out in the woods, and instead of trying to fight wolves, he just kind of like lets them attack him and tries to control his rage. And there was a training technique for him. That is until he sees an old man being mauled by what looks to be like a werebear, and he tries to save this old man. First he was reluctant because he was afraid that his rage was going to consume him, but he felt the need to help this old man. Only to come to find out that the werebear that he killed was actually just this group, this cult of individuals who can transform into these giant monstrous bears, and now they're coming after Kratos and his family and whatnot. Who knows, maybe this ties into actually how his wife dies. I don't really think so, but we'll see. This is, like I said, only a 4-part miniseries that came out through Dark Horse Comics. It is self-contained, and like I said, it does take place a little bit before the video game, but it's a great read, even if you're not really into the God of War stuff. Anything with mythology and whatnot, I think you guys will enjoy this. So definitely check it out. That's all my picks for this week, everyone. This upcoming... No, I'm sorry, not this upcoming, but June 14th, it's going to be on a Friday. We're going to do another movie night here. It's going to be the Batman Ninja Turtles movie night. We try to get people to get here around 9 so we can close up everything around 9:30 and be focused back there, because once we're back there, guys, we really don't hear the door too well, so we might be missing people trying to come into the store and whatnot. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We have drinks for sale. Maybe the popcorn machine will work this time. We're not going to make any promises on that, guys, but you guys are welcome to bring food in if you want to as well. But it's going to be a lot of fun. The most recent one we did, Broly, it was a lot of fun. It's a great movie if you guys have never seen it, but we're going to try to keep this more regular, guys, so definitely come by and check it out. As I said, that's all my picks for this week, everyone. Keep reading your comics, true believers. See you guys next week.